Hey everyone, Zeddy here again today with a brand new video, and the nerfs are live. Secret Passage, Dark Glare, and Cabal Acolyte have all been nerfed, and well, we got a new metagame in both Standard and Wild, so I thought it would be fun to make a video highlighting 7 of the best decks to play in both Standard and Wild post-nerf. Standard was impacted definitely a lot less than Wild, as Dark Glare was an absolute powerhouse in Wild, but thought, you know, if you want to go in, know what's good, we could highlight 7 really powerful decks that could be both good on a legend climb or just trying to climb those legend ranks. So if you want to get the wild decks, those decks will be highlighted in tomorrow's video. So make sure you hit that sub button and notification bell for that so you can get updated when that goes live. But today we're going to cover Standard. So let's get going with the 7 best Standard decks to play post-nerf right now. So at number 7, no particular order to these decks, just 7 very powerful decks. But at number 7 we have Face Hunter, a very aggressive based aggro deck. It's a tried and true staple in Hearthstone of playing Hunter, clicking the button, going face, but this deck really thrives with Voracious Reader, 2-mana 1/3 that refuels your hand as soon as you've dumped a bunch of your burn or your early 1-drops. Also tutor out your 1-drops, getting 2 1-mana 3/3s, or getting a Face Stalker buffed and then cheating out secrets, which can be very powerful. You have Tour Guide to cheat out hero powers. And, you know, you have your burn with your kill commands, your Animal Companion, Eagle Horn Bow, Dragon's Bane. Just a very powerful, aggressive deck. And it can really punish those, like, slower, greedier, like, created by decks that are very popular on ladder. And you can also, like, tech your deck to help out against the Druids, like Freezing Traps and Pressure Plate can do a very good job. It's just a very good pick. It's very fast. It's a very cheap deck. It's only like 3,000 or so dust. And definitely a good go-to deck if you want to go for that quick games, quick climb, and, you know, punish people who are being greedy. At number 6, the deck I've been playing a lot on stream. We just hit 200 Demon Hunter wins. We're Demon Hunter mains now, and that's Soul Fragment Demon Hunter. It's a deck that thrives on punishing aggressive decks. It does very well against decks like Face Hunter, but it also does really well against decks like Secret Rogue or Tempo Mage, the created by decks, because, well, you have the board clears to deal with their stuff, and you have burn, you have your weapon damage, you have Lapidary, you have Gladebound Adept, you have all these powerful burn cards that just, well, you hit your opponent in the face, clear their stuff, and you kill them, because they don't have healing, they don't have taunts, they just have to try and high roll you, whether it be through a big Edwin, or, you know, the Mage creates random taunts or freezing, but overall, you're very favored in those matchups. It just can struggle against decks like Bomb Warrior, Libram Paladin, or, you know, sometimes Priest can be a bit of a problem, as well as Druid can be tough. So it's kind of a mixed bag, but if you're facing a lot of aggression on ladder, and you're looking for a deck that's just consistent and not really contingent on high rolling with random, it's a very, very solid pick, and I've been enjoying it a lot, as we've talked about lots on the channel. Next, we have Dragon Priest, or Galakron Priest, or Spell Priest, whatever you want to call it. It's a very good Priest deck, and it runs the nerfed Cabal Acolyte. It's still a very good card. The effect is still powerful. Stealing a minion is really, really good, especially you can steal something big if you use Wave of Apathy, or get a Lazul Scheme going. And, of course, you have your Invokes, you have your Raise Dead to get more value, you have spell generating stuff like Cobalt Spellkin, and it's a value powerhouse of a deck. You can heal up with Apotheosis, Renews. It's a deck that just smothers your opponent to deck, and it forces them to go onto social media and complain about deleting priests from the game. But if you're looking for a slower strategy that does very well, generates a lot of value, and just rewards a lot of long-term decision-making, it's a very powerful deck and can do a lot of good on ladder. It can just get scammed by, you know, Tempo Mage and Secret Rogue, and sometimes it struggles to keep up with the Druid decks, but overall, very powerful deck, and a lot of people have had a ton of success with it. Next, we have Bomb Warrior, unaffected by the nerfs, and is still a very powerful deck. It still seems to be the favored version is the weapon-based version, not so much the risky Skipper Armorsmith one. So I'm highlighting a version here that's just basically draw your weapon, buff the crap out of it, remove the board every turn, go face as much as you can with your weapon, and burn your opponent out with bombs. You also have Galakron and Kronks in there for late game value bomb in terms of just pure damage. 3 damage a turn is very helpful, especially against the aforementioned pesky priests, and can just do a lot of good stuff. It can struggle against early aggression, and if there's a lot of like aggro, like Face Hunter and stuff like that, you might want to consider going back to the risky Skipper Armorsmith build, as well as can help with Soul Fragment Demon Hunter if you're seeing a lot of that. But yeah, Bomb Warrior, very solid pick, very good. Can contest with Druid very well. Priest, it can just definitely smork down the Secret Rogues and the Tempo Mages, and is a very, very solid pick to ladder with. At number 3, we have Beast Spell Druid. Malygos Druid has kind of fell out of favor as the most popular of the Druid decks because the Malygos win condition, as we've mentioned before in videos, is just not that reliable. Like, it's not that good. You rarely win with your Malygos combo, so why really run it, you know? So what you do instead is you run Survival of the Fittest, you run Lake Thresher, or whatever it's called, the Cleave Beast, so you can cheat that out, which fights for a board insanely well, especially when it's buffed, and you also run Broomstick, which can give all of your giant beasts rush. It's incredibly powerful. Say you don't have Guardian Animals, but you have a Twilight Runner in hand. Well, you play that and this, give it Rush. Well, we all know how good that is. You draw cards, you can buff stuff, and you have your 0-mana taunts you can cheat out. And when they get cheated out with Survival of the Fittest, they are absolutely massive. And of course, you have your late game Bomb and Ysera Unleashed. And King Pharaohs has been popular choice to throw in here. If you're stuck with these 10 cost cards or Guardian Animals in your hand, you can play Pharaohs and get some 10 drops or 7 drops and get an insane swing. And considering a lot of 10 drops have taunt, you're not necessarily going to die when you play it. So, very powerful deck. Cheating out Guardian Animals is still incredibly insane. And the Survival of the Fittest build seems to be the best one on ladder right now. Number 2, we have Tempo Mage, Small Spell Mage, Mana Mage, whatever you want to call it. Scam Mage, Random Mage. I like to call it Bullshit Mage because it just bullshits you out of the game. You have Apprentice to cheat out all your cheap spells, whether it be Magic Trick, Evocation. You have Cyclone to generate more value. You have Mana Giants to cheat out, which you can Conjurer's Calling to get insane 8 drops against me, like Tyrion or Troublemaker, something crazy like that. Of course, you have Prime. You can get more Primes with your Study card. And then when you play it on 7, those random spells can be ridiculously powerful in game winning. And of course, who knows what spells you'll create. You never know what's going to happen in any given game with this deck. And it is a powerhouse. People have done extremely well, hitting rank 1 legend multiple times with various builds. Whether it be Jandis or Cobalt Speltkin with Arcane Breath. Like, there's so many different builds. But the core is pretty much set with Apprentice, Cyclone, all the cards like that. And it's a very powerful deck. Can be a lot of fun to play. You get to play a lot of different crazy stuff. No game is definitely the same. But it can be infuriating to face all the random, ridiculous nonsense where your opponent's played over 30 cards but that didn't even start in their deck by the end of the game. It can be ridiculous, but very powerful deck, very good. Can just struggle with like aggressive decks like Face Hunter, the aggression of Soul Demon Hunter, or just the bombs of Bomb Warrior. But again, very solid pick and can be a ton of fun to play. And the last deck I will recommend is Secret Rogue. Some people call it Miracle Rogue. I think that's a slap in the face to the old Auctioneer builds. But yeah, Secret Rogue, even with the 4-card Secret Passage, is absolutely insane still. You can still draw 4 cards for 1 mana, and it turns out a 1-mana sprint is still pretty good. And yeah, you get your questing explorers going. You can high roll your Edwin. You can generate a bunch of value with lackeys. You can get reborn minions with Pharaoh Cat. And of course, Hanar can just solo games by itself with its infinite secret value train for just 2 mana. And when you're cheating and stuff out with prep and all that craziness, the deck is ridiculous. It can outvalue pretty much anything in the game, and it basically caps out at 3 men if you ignore Jandis as the one value bomb in the deck, or mana stat bomb, which you can shadow step. Very powerful deck and can be incredibly fun to play. Another one that's going to be incredibly infuriating to face, but definitely a powerful one to pick. If you're looking to climb, just be aware the aggressive decks can definitely smart you down. So make sure to high roll them with your Edwin or your questing explorers and get those W's by making those 3 mana 2/2s a hell of a lot bigger than that. So those are 7 decks I wanted to highlight that you can play post-nerf that are incredibly powerful. You'll note that the meta has not changed a heck of a lot. These decks are all pretty much very similar to what was out there before. But again, these nerfs weren't out there to kill these decks. It was to just dial a couple back in. So let me know in the comments below what's been working for you, what decks I'm missing out on, all of that. And again, make sure to sub and get notified for the Wild video coming out tomorrow. Like that video to help with the YouTube algorithm. Have a great day and stay salty, my friends.